I swear if I get one more email from a company referring to me as their bestie or a TikTok about what all of the cool girls are buying this holiday season, like I'm blowing up my phone. Enough is enough. Hi, I'm Caroline. Welcome back to my channel and my new apartment filming setup. If you can tell, it's not that much different besides the fact that I have pink walls in my new home. In my pink palace. Still playing around with different filming setups. This is not going to be a permanent spot, but it's the best I could do for now amidst the chaos that has been moving. So hopefully it's okay. I've been posting some behind the scenes of the move and decorating over on my Instagram and TikTok to come. So if you want to follow this journey, if you will, you should follow me over on there because I'm not really going to be doing much about it here on this channel. However, I am today in front of you on this channel going to be making a video that I was inspired to sit down and make after I watched LAINI'S Ozarks from about a month ago, where she just talked about all of the stuff that she almost bought for the month and then didn't, and why, and the kind of thought process and de-influencing, if you will. I think really all year, but especially during this specific time of the year, I know I get really overwhelmed and honestly like fatigued with all of like the content. I feel like it's just inundating my feed about spending and buying this and consuming more. And so I think that a video like this is refreshing and cool to make. So I'll pull up my list on my phone. It's also, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but I like to think I'm somebody who has pretty good taste, although expensive. But when it's vintage, secondhand, and it's rare, which there's some of that on this list, but there's also some like really cool, smaller, sustainable businesses. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry that I want to support a small female-run business. I'm already, can you see me? You can see the wheels turning in my head about how I justify making certain purchases, and I need you to either maybe like instigate me or talk me off the ledge. We can help each other out. All right, so the first thing I have up on my list, it is vintage, and it is the sexiest vintage Mongolian fur coat. Oh my god, I have been coveting one of these for a while now, but full stop, the price has been, it'll take your breath away a bit when you first see it. Now, I am a person who has a philosophy of, you know, saving up my money and investing if a piece, if I really want it, is always worth it, but I do struggle a bit with any kind of jackets or coats because of where I live in LA. I mean, I am bundled up and I actually have on like the little thermal top, this huge chunky sweater, and then my overalls on because we don't have heat in our place right now. We're hopefully, fingers crossed, getting that fixed later today, so it is currently 55 degrees in my home. And I actually could really use one of these coats at the moment. For the most part, I just don't get a ton of wear out of jackets and coats as much as I love them. Now, there is an argument to be made about how I could have this coat for decades to come, and so although I might not be getting a ton of wear out of it every single year, over the years, the decade span, if you will, it could add. I can see it in my head so clearly throwing this on over like a sexy vintage silk maxi slip dress and a good boot and my necklace tag, or even with like a good pair of just like jeans and a graphic tee. I love it. Could be convinced either way. TBD. Maybe this will be a Christmas gift to myself, but I also have getting a vacuum that actually suctions because that is not something we currently have with the 2 vacuums in our apartment. So if you have any vacuum recs that are great, let me know. Along with if you have one of these coats and if you recommend them. Okay, moving on to the next item on my list. God, I really am so predictable because it is a realization power dress. If you know anything about me, I am Eve in the garden and there's temptation all around me, but every single one of the apples, you replace that with a realization power dress with a $300 price tag, and I'm having to resist the urge every single time to not bite. And usually I'm chomping. I am. I've specifically been eyeing from them over the last 6 months or so this green and white polka dot mini dress, which is just adorable. The shade of green, I'm a sucker for polka dots. My thing though with mini dresses is I like the idea of them, and I have a couple in my wardrobe, but not nearly as much as I have maxi dresses because I just find that maxis are a lot more versatile for me, and with the way that I can style them and like wearing them throughout all the different seasons versus a mini dress, and especially with the realization price point, again, I just feel like it's hard for me to get something that I feel like is a bit more of a seasonal item. I do get so much wear out of my pieces from them, which, I mean, if you go and look over on my Instagram, you can very clearly see I am trying to get that cost per wear in the negatives. like literally doing it as if it's my full-time job. I do know that if I really wanted to, I could probably definitely find something like this vintage, probably from the 90s, and it could even be real silk for like a fourth or fifth of the price. But then I do that thing in my head where I'm like, but if this is what I really want, is that going to like curb the craving, or will I still want this? And I should have just saved that money and bought what I wanted to begin with. Maybe I'll give myself 6 months, and if I'm still thinking about it when spring or summer comes and they have one of their sales, take me and my money, if you insist. Next up on my list, God, I'm not doing a very good job so far of de-influencing you. I feel like I'm actually just sitting here begging you all to de-influence me. And it seems like that's kind of going to be the case for my next item, which are these bags from this Etsy seller that I found out about because I follow, her name's Lauren, I forgot her username, but I'll have her up on the screen on both TikTok, and she has a YouTube channel I'm obsessed with. And she just has like the most incredible taste. Her style's a bit different from mine, but it's the sort of thing where like her recommendations are so good that I'm like, and you will convince me that I do also need that. And these bags are one of them. The seller is Geminonade. Words are hard, you know? It's a bunch of really great suede and leather purses that I like the kind of bigger, like hobo tote slouchy shoulder style of the bags, and they have some really good neutral colors as well as some really pretty shades of like greens and blue. There's this light blue suede one that I have. I know I definitely have mentioned on this channel previously that bags is the one area of my wardrobe that I feel like I really struggle with. I have a ton of cool, more funky, eccentric, vintage, like statement bags, but when it comes to the basics, that's something that I really don't feel like. It's hard for me to even find what I like, and when I'm putting together outfits, sometimes the funky and eccentric bag is the perfect little cherry on top, but sometimes the bag, it's already so crazy and maximalist. I feel like I need something a bit more neutral, and so I am kind of going back and forth with these purses because they're definitely the closest to what I've been looking for, and they seem like really great quality, and I like that price point. Ideally, I'd be able to, you know, walk into a Goodwill and find one of these bags kind of similar for $10, but I've been trying to do that for about 3 years now, and at what point do I just accept that's probably not my truth? And what's happening to me. Oh, okay, so this next item that I have for you, we have officially made it to an item and a company that I can for sure say I will not be purchasing anything from, and it is home related, and that is the company Green Row. I had never heard of this brand before I was actually looking for a cute little white crochet or lacy bed skirt, and this one popped up in my recommended from Green Row for $135. Now, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I feel like for a bed skirt, $135 feels a little bit steep. And then when my roommate and I were looking for a cute white cotton shower curtain that maybe had some lace or crochet trim, another one from Green Row popped up, and that one was, how much was that? $129. Now, I just talked about how I will drop around $200 with the sale on a silk dress from Realization Par, so like let me not run my mouth too much here. Similar to my philosophy with my wardrobe, I do think there's a time and place for saving up and investing in certain pieces for my home, but then there are some things like, again, it's the $130 shower curtain where I'm like, two of those shower curtains was the price of this bed that is antique solid wood from the 1800s I found on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm just like, I have to draw the line somewhere. I love myself a bathrobe. Waking up in the morning, getting out of bed, wrapping myself in my robe, going to the kitchen immediately, shotgunning a nitro cold brew. That's my ideal morning routine. My robe that has been my tried and true over the past, I think 5 years now, is this striped one right in front of me from the brand Deucin & Deucin. Actually, I'll go and get it for you. Can you tell what my favorite color is? Am I so easy to read? I've been entertaining the idea of maybe potentially getting myself another one of this same bathrobe, basically exactly, except in a different colorway. I have one in a pink and red stripe with some blue and yellow striped detailing that oh my god, and they have matching slippers to go with it. And then I'll just like be walking through my home and like blending in with my pink walls, and that to me is just so pleasing. Like this is the life that I've always dreamed of, and I could be living it by just a quick little add to cart and purchase. It's also on sale right now. And so, God, I'm like, my problems are just fully on display. My spending habits with this video. The thing is, like, this robe is fine. It's definitely, there's a bit of wear. I mean, this has probably been my most worn item over these past 5 years, pretty much every day. And there's some fraying, I don't know if you can see, especially around the neckline. But for 5 years, and I think I got this on sale for about 90 bucks. I don't know if I'm at the point where I should be getting another one yet, or if I should wait a couple more years, or maybe want to get a different robe. I don't know. I'm not de-influencing anybody with this, am I? I'm not even de-influencing myself. I started this video more sure that I wasn't going to get most of these items, and now as I'm filming it, I'm like, hold on a minute. The shoe company is Swedish Husbeens, which I feel like are most known for their clogs. That's definitely how I first became aware of them a couple of years ago, and I now have bought one pair of shoes from them, and it is some clogs. And since following them on Instagram with a couple of people that I follow, I have seen these boots that they have, and I am so, I mean, you know me and my boots, but I'm usually more of a vintage boot connoisseur, but there's something about Swedish Husbeen boots that I love how they look, but I'm not quite sure how comfortable they would be. And I've looked up different reviews online and seen them styled on people, and it seems to kind of be hit or miss. The boots that I really have my eye on are their plain knee boots in the brown leather, and then they have ones they recently released that are their MC knee boots, and they have this really cool buckle detailing on them and kind of this distressed effect with the brown leather that I'm so into. But the boots are really tall. Like, they're not kidding when they say knee, and I don't know, the leather seems like it's a little bit more stiff, and if you aren't a certain height, and I'm 5, okay, well, I say I'm 5'5", but I'm actually like 5'4.5", and I have shorter legs, and so I'm not quite sure if these would even really work on like my calf and shin length. I love the look again and the shape, and especially with like the chunkier heels and the platform. I think they're so cute, and I can envision myself wearing these a lot in a lot of different ways. They seem quite versatile, but I keep seeing things online about how they're not super comfortable and they're really stiff, and there's not really a way to actually break them in. That with the price, I think they're originally, oh my god, $540, but they're on sale right now for $216, which is still, I mean, not cheap, but it's not $540. It's again another situation where, like, I wish I could try these on and see before buying. And I could, they have a pretty good return policy, I think, so if it didn't work out, it would be pretty easy to fix the situation and rectify that. But I don't know, and I've never met anybody in person, I don't know anyone who's bought these boots. It's only like influencers I follow and the marketing for Swedish Husbeens of the boots. And so yeah, for that reason, I'm like, it might not be for me. But another thing that I'm like, I'm into the idea of, and cute in theory. And this is something where, like, once again, I could find something similar vintage, and that would maybe work a little bit better for my shin and calf height, length. I do have one beauty item on my list to talk to you about, and it is a fragrance, because I have always been into fragrances and perfumes and scents since I was little, but especially over this past year, I've gotten really into perfume talk and these more kind of like niche fragrances and perfumeries, and ordering so many samples on ScentSplit. It's a sickness. Yeah. Some of said samples that I have ordered are from Clue Perfumery, and there was one that really stood out to me called With the Candlestick. Notes of cherry, communion wine, cinnamon leaf, melted wax, burning church incense, extinguished candle, and hot musk. So that kind of gives you some insight into what my preferred scent profile is, especially in the fall and winter. I do love something that's like spicy, warm, cozy, and a bit incensey. And like, I walked into like a really old, dilapidated, almost church with candles lit everywhere. Like, kind of like recreating that vibe. The scent also from the sample that I got lasts a really long time, and it projects pretty well. My roommate smelled it and was like, oh my god, what is that? I'm obsessed. But My hesitation with buying this is that I recently purchased not one, but 2 fragrances from the brand Regime de Fleurs, which if you're familiar, it's not necessarily the cheapest, and I got Blood Spider Orchid, which is a very like cozy fall, winter, cidery, warm scent, and then Black Spruce, which is basically like I'm a sexy balsam fir pine tree, like wearing a little vintage fringe jacket and smoking a cigarette, which is a scent that I had been lusting after, like something that smelled exactly like that for years now. And so since I recently bought both of those, and they're really like fall and winter scents, this is another fall and winter scent that I feel gluttonous having all 3, and it's a bit unnecessary. I'm telling myself that I have enough, and I do. I have more than enough, and that this scent will still be there if I want it next fall and winter, and so then I can get myself it. But for now, it's again like the time and place. I have other things that I should be spending my money on right now, and because I do not have just tons of not made of money, there's not expendable income just like coming out of my pores, yeah, this is gonna have to be something that it's gonna be a slow burn with this, and I'll maybe eventually get it next year if I'm still wanting it. But yeah, if you haven't smelt it and you've been wanting to, and you kind of seem like you have like similar scent taste to me, you should definitely get a sample and give it a whiff, because wow. The brand Oddly is another thing I've talked about on this channel before and posted about on Instagram, because they're a really cool, sustainable, female-founded business based out of LA, and I have bought a bathing suit from them that I really love and would definitely recommend. And again, like, I don't want to be an instigator, but they're like having a crazy sale on the bathing suits right now because obviously it's out of season. I'm not talking about the bathing suits though. What I'm here to talk about are these mini dresses they have that is this boat neck style with these quarter-length sleeves, and they have these chunky little button details. That's something they've been doing more of with their clothing. I love just like the chunky, fun, colorful button detailing, and I've almost given in and gotten one of these dresses a couple different times. They have a black color that I really love, as well as this kind of light buttery pale yellow, and then like a reddy orange. But my one hesitation is that on this site and with the models, the dresses look and they sit really nicely, but when I've gone into the tagged photos on their Instagram, because that's the kind of creeper shit I do, I'm an Enneagram 5, okay? My personality type is quite literally called the investigator. Like, don't mess with me. This is quite literally the sort of thing that like gets me going and fuels me. It's my passion, it's my purpose. I noticed though with other people who weren't on the site wearing the dresses that they kind of, when they raise their arms, the dresses, kind of the neckline gapes a little bit strangely, and it doesn't sit quite as nice or seamlessly as it does with like the models are just standing still, which I mean, like many such cases, and obviously more often than not, like the models usually can look better and they clip and they like make the clothing look a certain way. That's not how it is in real life, but I'm so big with my clothing, like the movement of it, and I honestly like when I'm wearing an item, like it looks good when I'm standing still, but I really like it to be like, here's the showstopper when I'm moving around, you know, and I like to feel comfortable in that. I think it's why I like clothing that tends to be like maxi length and has a lot of fabric and it's very flowy and it's, you know, fun to twirl in. And I just noticed with these dresses, like I don't think I would like to really raise my arms or like hug somebody if I was wearing this, and that would bother me. So for that reason, as cute as I think they are, I have passed, because it's just like that's the sort of thing that would just piss me off and would make me, as much as I love this company, I do think they're really cool and I love a lot of their other stuff, with this dress in particular, like you almost got me, but you didn't. Also a fun little hack for you if, like me, you are really into this like fun button detailing. It's a really easy thing to do with different items that are already either existing in your wardrobe, or you can thrift them, and if you don't love how the buttons look, you can easily go to a craft store or thrift or antique malls. I love finding like the craft supply and sewing booths at antique malls. They usually have at least one in any kind of antique mall that you can find, and you can just get like really cute, fun, cool buttons, and they're really easy to swap out. You can do it by hand. Trust me, if I can, you can. While you're watching the new episode of Heated Rivalry that comes out every Friday on HBO. Opera Store is how I think you pronounce the name of this next item on my list, which this is a brand I found on Instagram, and they have really cool floral inspired pottery claw clips art jewelry created in England, female founded, female run. It's a small business with just like the most beautiful handmade items, these like big statement floral claw clips that I really love, but I'm not a huge claw clip person, and I sometimes like I have one that's a mini in my hair right now, but you actually can't really see it with how I style my hair, and I kind of fasten it with little bobby pins and cover the clip. Like there's something like I get the claw clip hairstyle and why people like it and all of the really like cool, fun, cute statement claw clips, but it's just again the kind of thing where like I love hers. They're so cool. She has ones that are lilies, which is one of my favorite flowers, and they're stunning. But I just don't think this is my style and really truly authentic to my spirit. I don't know. I only recently found this brand and started following them over the past couple of weeks, so maybe this is a kind of slow burn thing that as we get into the spring and summer and these clips feel a little bit more seasonally appropriate, I guess I'll get more into them. She also has her mugs and plates are insane. They are a bit more on the pricey side, but I mean, I understand why they're priced that way. They're handmade and so beautiful, and like I could never. She honestly could probably price them like double what she has and I'd be like, valid. No, like you're so talented and insane. This is amazing. I think her items, especially the claw clips, I can think of a few different friends who would love these and would be a really good gift idea. And I think the mugs and plates too, for somebody if you're wanting to get a little bit more of like a special or expensive gift and there's somebody who really appreciates this sort of thing, this would be a really great idea. And who knows, maybe these will end up being, especially there's just one lily plate that's like black and white polka dots, a gift to myself. God, in the mug, I just don't drink. I only have iced coffee or water or like my crisp apple Olipop. So I'm not a big mug person, but if I was, oh, things would be getting really serious on her site. And now I want to take a quick little break to tell you about the sponsor of this video, who is Masterclass. So Masterclass is a membership to classes from the world's best, with members getting unlimited access to over 200 courses and thousands of lessons across anything from business to writing, cooking, fashion design, as well as interior design, which is what I've been getting really into with my recent move and needing some help with that. Kelly Wersler is an award-winning interior designer, and her class have really been helping me with how to take up space properly. I have a lot higher ceilings in my new apartment than I did in my last place. It has some different decor requirements, as well as there's not a ton of natural lighting in this place, and so really getting into like warm, cozy lamps and like it's a dungeon but in like a chic cottage vintage kind of way. Their plans start at $10 a month, billed annually, and during this holiday season, you can get up to 50% off an annual Masterclass subscription by clicking the link in my video's description or scanning the QR code that is currently up on the screen so they know that I sent you. Also, it should be noted, but this is a really great last-minute gift idea, either for yourself or for that person in your life who's much more of a like experience gift kind of person. You can gift them the opportunity to learn. The experience to cultivate new knowledge. That is such like a me thing to like. It's the Aquarius and the Capricorn. Like you're just, yeah. Learn from the world's best to become your best with Masterclass. Thank you so much to them for working with me on this video, and with that, let's get into the rest of it now. So I don't play about anything antique. I mean, right, like see antique bed from the 1800s as my top example, and one of the things that I have been so fixated on that's only been heightened by my recent rewatch of the movie Crimson Peak is getting my hands on a true authentic antique Victorian bodice blouse corset top. There was one that came across my desk, aka my Depop, a couple of weeks ago that was this yellow plaid tartan, and there was green and brown in it, got like the puff sleeves and the silhouette of these items. It was perfect, and it was in decently good condition, and around, how much was this? $116, which obviously $116 is $116, but considering the age of these items, and it was in wearable condition, which is definitely like my top priority, is getting it at a good price that is something that would fit me and isn't a 19-inch waist and is something I can actually wear, because although it is fun with anything that's, you know, antique Edwardian or Victorian or just vintage in general, like you're kind kind of, you're owning these pieces of history, and that's one of the many reasons that I'm really drawn to, you know, these different eras of fashion and vintage antique style. But I do also want to wear these items. I don't want them to just sit in my closet and collect dust, and so that's definitely something that's been a little bit difficult, is finding, because of how old these items are, like over 100 years at this point, some even like 150. It's not always the easiest, and I don't really want to fork over like 400 bucks for one. So if you own something like this and you have any tips, again, please let me know. Let me know it all in the comments. Or if you own something like this and you're like, actually, I don't recommend owning one. I thought I'd also wear it a lot and I don't. Like, I can really see this styled with like a cool pair of like 70s jeans, kind of mixing those eras of fashion. They're like high-waisted and flare out in the boots and the sunglasses and the necklace. Like, you get it at this point. I love that outfit. It's Florence Welch, basically. But like, I'm her from Shein. So, all right, and oh, okay, we've actually made it to the last item I had on my list to talk to you about, and it is a knit bonnet from Bella Jane Bella, which is an item that, again, it's not even, like, it's not you, it's me. I live in a place that geographically I just could not wear you, but I wish I could, because they're cute, but I also hate the cold, so like, I don't really wish. I came across Bella a couple of years ago on TikTok from these bonnets she started making. She's also just like really cool, and she's a tattoo artist and is so incredibly talented in multiple ways, as you can see. And these bonnets, she's recently, I saw on her Instagram, dropping a collection, and they are just like the coolest. I love her like almost like handkerchief style bonnets, and they have these kind of multi-colors. There's a green and gray one that I am obsessed with. I love like the chartreusey moss shade of green that she uses to knit with. And she also has some bonnets that have really cool like pearls and beads and embellishments on them that are so just like special in a piece that I could really see. Like, this is such a fun, I think, if you live in a place where it does get really cold and you have like just one really warm big coat that you're throwing on over all your outfits, and it's a more neutral color. I think this is a really cool way to kind of add a bit of fun and color and like a little pop to an outfit that maybe feels a little bit like dreary and sad, especially moving into these like winter months when it's darker and there's no sun. Like, these bonnets are the sunshine. Like, the embellishments and the baubles on the bonnet, like that's the sparkle and little pop that we all need in our day. Wait, I lied. I'm such a liar. That wasn't my last item I had to talk about. This is now the actual last item on my list to talk about, and it is these Betsey Johnson, so vintage Betsey Johnson punk label velvet dresses. For whatever reason, I didn't even know that these dresses existed. I was familiar with like how incredible vintage Betsey Johnson is, especially her punk label, but these velvet dresses, I came across one on my Depop in the most beautiful green shade, and then another one on Depop a couple days later in the most beautiful like sapphire blue shade. And then I got this TikTok, and it was one of these dresses in a purple. And I'm like, is this like some sort of like consumer psychosis that I'm entering, or is this a sign from the universe that I need to get my hands on one of these dresses? I feel like at least one of you watching this has to own one of these dresses. Let me know if they're as incredible in person or even better. They're probably even better. And then like, you're just gonna piss me off. They seem really great too, because I feel like they're a very versatile piece for me. Like, velvet is something that you can make a little bit more casual in like a fall and winter way. Like, they're definitely a more seasonal item, but you could also really dress them up. And I'm just thinking, I'm now 27, soon to be 28. I'm going just like to more events and dinners and like weddings. And if I got one of these, I could like dress it up and wear it as a guest to a wedding, but also with like boots or a little ballet flat into the farmer's market. That is enough of that. Ending here. Are you viewed enough of me? I definitely have. Just hearing myself talk, it's like, wow, I'm not the person that you want to go shopping with if you're trying to save money. But then again, I didn't buy any of this stuff, spend money on any of this. So maybe I actually am the ideal person. This was fun. I have not been able to sit down and talk to this camera because all of my videos I've been posting recently were pre-recorded as anticipating just like the moving madness, and so it feels good. I've missed you, and giving these kind of updates and just chatting and chilling, and quite literally chilling. I'm freezing right now, and I need to go like put my blow dryer on me to try and warm my body up, or just like have heat. have the maintenance people come over and like start our heat. That would also be great. Like always, thank you so much for watching this video. I do really hope that you enjoyed it. And again, just all of the thoughts on any and everything that I talked about, let me know in the comments. I'm very excited to get to those. And if anybody I can trust like your opinions and your taste and recommendations about stuff, it's you. I will talk to you in my next video. Stay sexy. Bye.